Jack Gibson, aka Jack the Rapper, was known as the father of black radio from the 1950s, a successful on-air personality whose influence created sweeping changes in the radio industry.
Our next guest is the author of Mello, the incredible story of Jack the Rapper as told to Walker Smith. Walker Smith,
hello.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's very nice to be here.
Thank
you. Thank you for having me.
Now, there are a lot of people out there who don't know, they aren't familiar with Jack the Rapper. Tell us why you decided to write this book with him.
I wrote this book when he was still alive with him. We spent about 2 years off and on working on this book.
Yeah.
I was already a novelist, and he knew that. Someone recommended me to him, Eddie Pugh, actually, and who was in the business. And he, the reason that I went ahead and did it, even though I was a novelist, was because he lived through so much history.
Yeah.
And he lived through a lot of the history I was talking about. Because my first book was The Color Line, set in the Harlem Renaissance. And Marcus Garvey is a big player in that novel.
Yeah.
His father, Jack the Rapper's father, was Marcus Garvey's personal physician. So there were all these crossed lines that were real interesting. So we started working on it, and he decided he liked the way my approach to it. And so we worked on it, and then he passed away. He got to read the final draft before he passed away.
Wow.
And his children are now involved with helping me to promote it and everything. They're very happy that we got it all done, and it's out now.
Well, I'm thrilled that I'm filling in on a day that you're here, because I remember the days of Jack the Rapper in Atlanta. You know, Morehouse College, we all wanted to be in the business. So whenever Jack the Rapper came to town, we wanted to go and network and meet some great execs ourselves. Talk about Mello. That's the name of the newsletter, that Jack sent out regularly.
Very influential newsletter.
Talk about it.
Yes, he would pull that all together. He would talk. His influence would talk about what was the record to be played. People were jumping on records because of his influence. And he was. And then when he had the family affair, the big convention, that was the thing to go to. Everybody. I mean, I'm talking about the top-notch names. Everybody wanted to come and be seen at this convention. He had people like Prince and Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson and all of the top names. Everybody came to perform. It was the thing to go to. You did not miss the Jack.
It was an annual music convention.
It was an annual music convention in Atlanta. Usually, I think he had it once in Florida, but it was usually in Atlanta.
That's right.
Yes, and it was the place to go and be seen, and a lot of new upcoming artists came through there. Sinbad got his start. Performing. He would allow all these up-and-coming people to perform there, and they would be seen by all these industry people. It was, what better place to be seen than by all of the insiders, all of the music business presidents, and all these top-notch people.
Was this the same convention that's called Jack the Rapper? Because I've heard about it from industry friends. It's the same convention that's called Jack the Rapper.
There was an issue about some people trying to use that name and start a new one, and that was the family had a lawsuit going or something. That was a couple years ago, but I think they managed to squash that. And anything you hear from the future that's going to be Jack the Rapper, if they do revive the convention, it's a big undertaking.
And it'll be from the estate.
It would be from the family. It would be from the family. It's a big undertaking. I don't know how they did it, because if you read the book, you'll see that he and his wife pulled this all together, and they were really not wealthy. They didn't have. He was just so creative, and it was it came all grassroots. They pulled it all together. They got people involved. He had his tip sheet out. Started off, the reason it was called the Mello Yellow was because they were so broke when they started it, they typed it up on goldenrod paper, because that was the cheapest paper they could get for a lot of volume. And so they typed it up on goldenrod, and everybody started calling it the Mello Yellow.
Sharon, we should get her to take us all the way back to the beginning. Now, Jack the Rapper, I mean, he started what? A black radio station.
The first black-owned
Talk about the year and what that...
Yes, that was 1949. It was WERD. And he and J.B. Blayton got this radio station started. He went on and I asked him about that. I said, do you remember the moment when you first went on the air? Because there were other black disc jockeys, but they had been working for white stations. This morning when he went on the air, he said, I remember sitting at the mic and realizing that this was history. This was our first station. And his first words on air were, "We are here." And he said, and I knew that there were a lot of white people that were angry that they were having the station. A lot of black people were listening, and he meant that for both sides. We are here, whether you like it or not. We are here, and black folks, we are here. And so those were great words. I thought that was
one of the ways in which he was here was for black artists. James Brown gives Jack the Rapper all that credit for helping him out in those days.
He gave him second billing only to God.
He helped so many artists, hasn't he? Including hip-hop artists as well.
He
Talk
fought,
to us about,
when the convention, when the rap element was starting to begin. Some of the people who were helping him and working with him on the convention wanted them to stick with music, so-called R&B music, and Jack fought for the rappers to be able to come
he
and
believed
be a
in
part.
hip-hop.
Yes, he said this is just the way music is going, and he fought for that. So
that was in the 80s, wasn't it?
That was in the 80s, yes.
And you talk fight. We talk the fight for black artists. He was very instrumental in the civil rights movement as well. Can you talk about that?
Yes, WERD, when he was in Atlanta, their offices, or the radio station, was right above, on the floor above, Martin Luther King's SCLC office.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so it was interesting because the way they used to do things in a nice, loose manner back then was, he told me this story and I couldn't believe it, but it's true.
Yeah.
He said that Dr. King would come into town and everybody in the building would be buzzing, well, Dr. King's in town, and what's going on, what's going on? He just got back from wherever, or, you know, some big march or something that was going on.
Yeah.
So he didn't have a lot of time, so they would actually literally take the microphone and drop it down by the wire out the window, and he would grab it from the window, and Dr. King would speak to the audience by window. So, and then they would pull it back up, and that was Dr. King talking to you about.
That was Skype for the time. They were Skyping at the time.
That was high tech.
Incredible.
That was high tech.
So he had a really incredible life, and you're bringing that to the attention of audiences. So that's a wonderful thing. And where can we find the book?
The book is available on www.walkersmithbooks.com, also on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble in New York should have it in store. If they don't already, they should have it any day now. But it's available everywhere. Just go online, look for Mello Yellow, Jack the Rapper, or Walker Smith. Put them all together any way you want. Sometimes if you look for just Mello Yellow, you get a drink. There's a pop soda.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Yes. But this is the book. Yes. This is the only
Mello
book.
Yellow, the incredible life story of Jack the Rapper, as told to Walker Smith.
Well, I'm in, and that one's going home with me.
That's right. Okay, great.
Thank you, Walker.
Thank you very much for having me.
This is Arise Entertainment 360. See ya.